here for these parenting and business interviews. Today I'm joined by the lovely Sarah Mueller, who is going to share with us her experiences of raising a family whilst building a successful business. So without further ado, over to you, Sarah. Just tell us a little bit more about what you do, first of all.
Sure, absolutely. So my name's Sarah Mueller. I blog over at earlybirdmom.com, and I've been writing there for 3 years. I write about organizing and clutter and kind of the cost that clutter puts on people, as well as other things to help make just kind of running a household and a family easier. Things like meal planning and a little bit of parenting too. So that's kind of where I hang out online.
Excellent. And obviously you must have experience in the parenting world yourself. So how has parenting impacted upon your business, the design of your business, the setting up of your business, and ultimately the success of your business?
Oh my goodness. Okay. So I have 4 boys and I recently become a single mom. So obviously my whole world is really consumed right now with the kids, and there's a big age range with them. I started out in business probably, 14 years ago when my oldest was just a baby, and I was homeschooling, well, not when he was a baby, but as he approached kindergarten age, I started homeschooling him and then the other kids. So I had to kind of figure out how to fit business in around the kids, because they were home all the time. So I had to kind of get creative and learn how to be productive and prioritize because, there just wasn't the luxury of an 8-hour workday for me. So they've just really been, around for the whole time of my business. From the previous business, I used to run an e-commerce company, and transitioning then into the current business. Now they do go to school now, so I do have a lot more time to work, which makes things a lot easier, but they still do arrive home at 3:00. So they've just been around for the whole time. And, they show up in my writing all the time. They're really the inspiration for a lot of the things that I do. So, yeah.
Excellent. So what would you say has been your biggest struggle really with setting up your own business?
I would really say it was just believing in myself, because I have lots of ideas and I consider myself, a pretty smart person, well educated, but really just being willing to put myself out there and to take the steps that I needed to do, and then to keep going even when I was encountering opposition, from the people around me, that they weren't always as supportive as as I wanted them to be. So there was a lot of self-doubt. So I think just really knowing, hey, this is what I need to do, and I can be successful in this, and being willing to take that risk when there wasn't necessarily the support around me. That's probably been the biggest struggle for me.
I think that ties in really nicely with the parenting side as well, though, because actually as parents, we're often made to feel we're doing it wrong, or, oh, you shouldn't do that, or someone's dressing amazing and you're covered in vomit, and there's all these kinds of comparisons. But actually it is parenting. Confident parenting is about believing in yourself and doing what feels right for you and your family, and that crosses over into business so much. So that's a really great.
Absolutely. I think you really, I'm now realizing life is too short to worry about what other people think, and you really just have to know what's right for you and your family, and that's not going to be the same answer for everybody. So, nobody else knows your kids like you do, so you really have to be willing to be strong and to do what you need to do, what you know is right, as opposed to what someone else is telling you.
Exactly. Very true. So you said that you started your business as a result of being at home, or was it always your plan to work from home? How did being a parent and starting a business tie in together?
Oh, that's a good question. I fully intended to go back to my corporate job when my son was 3 months old. Actually, I did go back to work. I had an amazing corporate job. I went to business school, and he was born, but then I went back to work, and it was just it was, I don't know, it was hard. It was just not what I wanted to do. And I wasn't happy being gone, 4 or 5 days a week. So I think I was there maybe a month after he was born, and I'd gone back to work, and I quit my job and started consulting. So yeah, it definitely, being a parent totally, totally changed my priorities and kind of put me on a totally different direction. But I don't know. I don't think I could work in a full-time job anymore. I don't know if I'm employable anymore because I have too many ideas, and I think it would be hard to go back to that. I think you can relate as well.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant. I think it's great that actually it kind of freed you. It gave you that freedom to follow your creativity and your ideas that in a corporate world you probably never would have had the opportunity to do. So it actually was, obviously, beside the obvious of being a positive thing, it was actually had a lot of other positives in terms of she's kind of showing you what direction to take a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
Brilliant. So what have you learned about managing the old work-life balance when you've got 4 kids? It's even harder, but
wow. I don't know if there is any. I think I've learned really like that you can pack a lot in. If you've got priorities. If have you heard the book Eat That Frog? I think it's called, by Brian Tracy. It talks about if you have to eat a frog during a particular day, it's best to eat it first in the morning. That just means that you're supposed to do your biggest task first. So if you only have an hour to work, do the most important thing first, and then if you have more time later on, then obviously you can get more done. And that is such a hugely effective way to work for me. And I don't always accomplish that, but I think having kids and working at home just forces you to be so much more productive. It's just so easy to waste time if you're in a corporate job and there's nobody, demanding snacks, or, there's a fight that you need to break up. You just are forced to be more productive and to figure out your priorities. Or if you don't, then you really don't get anywhere. And then the bills don't get paid, right? Like if you don't do what you need to do, then there's an immediate impact. So I think having kids has really forced me to be more productive and, just try to figure out what are the most important things that are going to move me forward here, and act on those. It doesn't always work out. We had a couple of weeks of sickness, and I don't think I got much done at all in the last 2 weeks, maybe an hour a day, but it was enough. And I don't know if anybody really noticed that I wasn't as active as I normally are. And so it was okay. But yeah, I think you discover strength that you did not know you had when you're a mom or a parent and you're working at home. You rise to the occasion. So it's a good thing.
I think there are a lot of mums and maybe mums watching this right now who maybe feel that they had kids and then go to work, or they didn't get the education that maybe they would, and they're feeling a little bit like they don't know what to do. And actually, parenting gives you so many skills that suit business. Actually, way more, because mums are the best at getting organised. You have to be, as a parent, you have to be organised, and so don't fret about skills that you may not like formally have, because actually being a parent gives you so many skills that are transferable to business. And I think you've had really good ones there. That prioritising is a major one. Working online is hard because it's so easy to get distracted. But if you've got really clear priorities, that's a great way. So what's the best point for you in having a business, your own business, that you are in control of?
It's so much fun. Like I love what I do. I really do. And my kids are like, "Oh, you're working all the time." And I'm like, "Well, actually I'm not, because I'm trying to make up the time that you were sick." But I don't know, for me, it's just so much fun, like talking to people, networking, making a difference in people's lives. I don't think I would have that necessarily if I was working, at a traditional job. And I certainly wouldn't be able to be as creative and, to do the things that I'm doing in that kind of a traditional role. So it's so much fun. And it's amazing to me that I can provide for my kids and pay the bills based on doing what I love to do. So I'm pretty lucky, I think, in that respect. I guess it doesn't always work out that your passion can, can finance your life, but for me it has. So I'm super grateful about that. Just a lot of fun. And I'm always, always learning and growing and connecting, and that's just fun for me. So good.
I love that. And I love the fact that you're right. It is about when you find your passion, it doesn't even feel like work. Like, I don't feel like I'm working now. Technically it was classed as work, but I don't feel like that. I'm just chatting to a nice lady about business. So it's when you find something you love doing, the hours don't feel like work. Whereas, like say, if you're stuck in an office, you're constantly going, right, okay, another couple of hours, or sneak in a coffee break. Whereas when, like you say, when you do something you love, that time just goes, and the knock-on effect for your kids of seeing you happy is priceless. Being a parent who comes home from work frazzled, unable to give them anything because they're just so exhausted and can't do your homework with you, or haven't got time for. Whereas being a home mum who loves their job, the life lessons you're teaching your children are fantastic. You're teaching them to follow their dream, which is what we all want. It's what we want our kids to do. We want them to follow their dream. And you're doing that. You're modelling the best possible behaviour. So that's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
So one last question.
It's important, for kids to understand that their mom has a life besides them. It's good for them to have to wait. It's good for them to not be the center of your world. And for you to have things going on that don't involve them, that's a positive thing. I didn't realize that for a long time, but now I firmly believe that. So it's a good thing too.
I think you're right. I think a lot of parents do tend to feel like they're just a parent, which I don't. When I say just, I'm not belittling in any way. But actually, you're still you. You've still got your own personalities. You've still got your hopes and your dreams. And I always think that isn't that what you would want for your own kids. You would want them to be independent and to be able to do the things that they want to do. And even when they're married and got kids, you still want them to know who they are and be true to themselves. Absolutely. I think that's what it's all about. So, last question. If you could go back to the start when you first started your business, but with the knowledge that you have now, what one piece of advice would you give yourself?
I would say don't second guess yourself. I mean, I'm doing things now that I have been thinking about literally for years in my business and in my life. And I'm just now kind of getting the courage and the energy and the motivation. It feels so great. And there's no reason I couldn't have done some of these things years ago. So that would be really one thing that if I could do a do-over, that would be what I would do. Just believe in myself, because if you don't believe in yourself, then nobody, you're expecting other people to think more highly of you than you do of yourself. And that doesn't really make sense. So you have to believe in yourself first. I read that recently. And the other thing I guess I would say is to not get bogged down in the details. Like, I think that's one of my struggles sometimes is I focus too much on, the little tiny things where I'm losing sight of the big picture and, what are we really doing here? So I'm constantly trying to bring myself back to, the bigger picture. And, if the details aren't exactly right, I think that's okay. You need the bigger picture to be right first before you obsess over the details. So those would be my two things to focus on.
Believing in yourself we don't do it enough. We don't, we're always doubting ourselves and comparing ourselves, and actually we should celebrate ourselves. And for all of our flaws are just part of our personality, and we should celebrate that. It's part of our uniqueness. And yeah, I agree. I wish if I had my time again, I would do this first. This would be my dream. And so for your dreams.
That's awesome.
But it's been fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. Lots of fantastic information. I'm sure that the people that are watching and people that are watching this later will get a lot of value out of that. So I really appreciate you taking the time to join me today, Sarah. And thank you so much for watching. Take care, everyone.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
Delegate.